Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a leather element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So I've gotten a couple of comments lately from folks that are new, having a little trouble with double cap rivets. This is my favorite rivet, and I almost don't use anything else. So I'm hoping I can be of help. There are so many things here. I'm going to do my best to remember everything, but the bigger point is this. We just need to get comfortable setting these. From that point, all these tricks and tips are going to fall into place. So let's start here. A double cap actually holds itself together because right at the top of the post, that post is split on the end. So when we hammer a cap down onto that, the top of that post is going to bloom into that cap. That's what's going to hold our rivet together. Now we've got 3 sizes on these and 6 finishes. One of the many things I love about the double caps. Now, with our 3 sizes, we've got, for me, small, medium, and large, or technically 1/4 inch, 5/16, 7/16, or if you want to round that off, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. Now, on our smallest, the 1/4 inch, this is perfect for 2 4-5s back to back. Okay, now, this brings up one of the 2 critical things about setting double cap rivets. Right there. Notice how little post I have sticking up above our top grain. I want less than 1/8 of an inch. And here's why. Say right here, we go all the way up to a large, and we'll look at these in just a second. But we go all the way up to a large. Notice how much post is sticking up there. I've set a lot of these rivets, and still, when I set that rivet, it's going to offset. The cap's going one way, the base is going the other. First off, that's not going to hold. But secondly, if we try to get that out, what's happened is now we have this big gouge in our leather from that rivet cap. That's never going to look good. So again, critical that we have the right amount of distance above our top grain. All right, so the smallest, that's going to do 2 4-5s back to back. Our medium is going to do 2 8-9s back to back. Yeah. There we go. That's almost the perfect amount of distance. And also the hole. That can be critical too. We'll talk about that shortly. Now the large is not going to do 3 8-9s back to back. We could try, and it's relatively close. But in all honesty, if we're doing 3 8-9s back to back, most likely we're working on something big and heavy, maybe safety belts. So I would say let's go with a copper rivet or maybe a tubular rivet there, but our double caps are going to work on just about everything else. Now we could set that. There's enough cap there, but really I might say somewhere around 2 8-9s and a 4-5, maybe a combination in there. Okay, we've got a feel for lengths, so let's step over to our punch table. Before we get to our punch table, this is a good point about double cap rivets. I mentioned I use these on just about every project, say something just short of a safety belt or thicker projects. Well, here's a good example. So this is a sword scabbard, but think of maybe a rifle sling or a back carry rifle scabbard. This sword was given to me in the 90s. In fact, this is one of my first scabbards. You can tell I was just starting to try to figure out the pattern. The point here is this. I've obviously used this. It looks a little bit rough. Used and loved. Right there, double cap rivets. And in fact, that is in a very high stress area. Not only are they still holding, but they still look good. And there's another thing I love about the double cap rivets, and this is a nice touch. Right at the top of the post is crimped. That allows us to snap a cap down onto the rivet without ever setting it. So if we've got a larger panel, bunch of rivets, we can just snap the cap on all the rivets, make sure everything fits before we ever set one rivet. That'll save us a lot of time and headache. Now on the hole size, this isn't critical as long as we don't punch a large hole. Say something that's close to the size of our cap. This is a 1/4 inch hole, but notice first off, whatever goes on it is going to be able to move around. That's just not going to be durable. What I like is a much smaller hole, if not snug, relatively close. And on most any revolving punch, maybe the 3rd or 4th tube up. But to me, that's going to give us our best, most durable bite. Now, when we're setting our rivet, we're going to go with a medium, or the 5/16 and the antique copper. I love these rivets. These look so good on just about any shade of brown. So when we set these, I'm going to take my cap. I can feel that snap down. Good. Now, we've got enamel. This is from our 4-piece setter set. We've got a rivet setter, flat on one end, concaved on the other. So what I'd like to do is just as best I can try to hit that straight up and down and about 2 good pops. But notice my cap is sunk down into the top grain just a little bit. That's a good bite. Now, my rivets flatten on the back. That's the other part of the double cap. What we can do is set this on our anvil. That smallest indent will hold our rivet, so therefore when we set it, that's more rounded like our cap. But I tend to like the flat on the back. That just looks good to me. We've got a well set rivet. It's going to hold, looks good, but we need to take this rivet out for whatever reason. Panel doesn't fit, or we simply need to replace this. Let's start right here. I'm going to take our awl. I'm going to put that right in the back of the rivet, and let's just puncture that back cap. Now, doesn't hurt to have a little protection here if we've got a project, because that's our top grain down. Don't want to mess that up. With a drill bit, and we can go with a hand drill or a drill press, but I want a drill bit a little more than 1/8 of an inch. Basically a little more than that tube. Now, it didn't come out. That's okay. Let's go back over to our punch table. Let's give this just 1, maybe 2 more shots. There we go with our setter, because now where we've drilled, we've actually pushed that post down into that cap. Now it'll come right off. Now let's try again. And there we are. That separates easily. We haven't torn up our leather by any means, but one big point. Right here, our tendency is to push that through. First off, it's hot. Secondly, very sharp. So let's take our awl and force that through. Very nice. We haven't dinged the leather on the face or the back. Well, a little bit, but we'll cover that up with a new rivet. There's a lot to love about the double caps. They look good. We've got 6 different finishes, 3 different sizes. They're easy to put in, and if we need to, they're easy to take out. I hope this answers some questions, and I hope this helps with your double caps because, again, it's my favorite rivet. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.